Hi, my name is Shelby, and I hate reading Wade in the Water by Nayani Nkrumah. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Before we get into this vlog, let me just do some disclaimers. This is not a personal attack on the author, but I do have some questions. I do have some concerns, and I want to voice them. I feel like as a booktuber, as a bookstagrammer, as a book talker, it is my place to voice my opinion about books that I think may not be healthiest for us to read, or that I believe are being it could be misconstrued, right? My perspective could be wrong, but if I don't put my perspective out there, no matter how harsh, how are we supposed to be in conversation with authors, and to be able to learn and to be able to figure out and to be able to just have comfortable conversations to see what people actually mean. As of right now, I am not happy with the things that I'm reading in this book. And I will go into more detail. There will be some spoilers with that said, so if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch the video. I don't know what to tell you, boo. But if you would like to hear all of my thoughts and see my experience reading this book, here you go. When I first picked up this book, not when I first picked it up, when I first heard about this book, because as a bookstore owner, there are ways for me to find out about new releases a lot sooner than everyone else. The one thing that concerned me was that this book was compared to Sue Monk Kidd's The Secret Life of Bees. Now, I have not read The Secret Life of Bees, but I have read some other books by Sue Monk Kidd, and a lot of her books, unfortunately, whether you want to accept this or not, are very much like these coming of age, white women aren't that bad, my slave was my friend kind of stories, right? Where there is some sort of pandering to white women, except for the one that we read as a book club pick, which was actually a phenomenal book, and I was very disappointed to, after that, have read some of Sue Monk Kidd's other works and been like, dang, I had this view of who I thought this author was based on this one work. And then her other work just didn't stand the test and didn't say the type of things that particular book did. And it was a little disheartening. So to see that this book was compared to The Secret Life of Bees, which again, I've never read, so I don't know. Even though I know the gist of it because I've seen the movie a bunch of times, it kind of made me a little concerned, right? And I didn't order it the first time I saw the book, and then I saw it again and read the synopsis, and again I was like, something ain't right, something's not right with this, and I don't know that I'm gonna like it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But then I decided to give it a chance, and I was going to put it on my February TBR, and I'm glad I did not. Something was just like, you need to be reading this right now. Now, another thing that I want to mention is it's very important to look up the authors that do blurbs on books, right? Because one, that's a way for you to find new authors, right? Because usually what happens is if an author does a blurb on a book, they write similar literature, or literature that is adjacent to, right? The same, similar, and adjacent. And looking at some of these blurbs and what this book was compared to, I was like, I don't know. Okay, so we are in a small town in Mississippi, and we meet Ella, who is a 12-year-old girl that lives in a black girl, I should say, that lives in an abusive home. She was obviously conceived in infidelity, and is not her mother's husband's child. So because of this, the mom, the siblings, and the stepdad treat her funny, but the stepdad is sexually assaulting her, right? We also meet Catherine, who is a journalist. Now, where I am in the book, I have not met her yet. Well, I have, but they haven't said that it's her. We're getting, like, every other chapter is a different perspective. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a bookmark so that I can get to the part that really made this a red flag for me. A different perspective. The back and forth that we're getting, we got present day Catherine, but now we're getting flashbacks to when she was younger and what her life growing up was like, which was very racist, right? Now, her present day part is of her as a college student that has some, I guess, like, her life has changed now because she's gone to college and has all of these diverse friends and has had all these experiences or whatever, but we can talk about that in a second. So Ella gonna get down, you gonna get in trouble. Take it and go. I'm glad that there's proof on video that Gunner is bad, because y'all don't believe me. And y'all be all in the comments like, he's the goodest boy, and he's so handsome, and where do we send him treats and toys and stuff? And now y'all get to see him acting a donkey. Can I finish recording? I mean, it is a vlog, so it could be a little ghetto, but dang.
This leaving the Northeast has left us blustery here in New York. That'll clear out, and we'll start the weekend okay. There's still some.
You just gonna look at me like you're not doing nothing wrong? Come up here. Come, so they can see your face. Come, they like to see you. Come on.
Let's say from Arizona all the way to northwestern Missouri, and locally there could be 6 to 12 inches.
Come up here. If you want it, come and get it.
Kansas City to Chicago. Some rains to the south, but
come on.
A juicy storm over the Gulf.
Okay, keep going. Okay, so present day Catherine that we do see is in college so far, and talks about all of her diverse friends, which is triggering and a red flag. But then everything else is a flashback. Her father he owned land or whatever, and he had sharecroppers in the 50s that he treated like slaves, and has instilled in her this very, very blatant, like, strong hate for black people. Uses the N-word, and because she is daddy's little girl, she is following in his footsteps. Now, back to Ella. Ella, because her mama don't care nothing about her, she kind of gets to roam free around the neighborhood, and the neighborhood is sort of taking care of her, but she's young. Another thing that has made me uncomfortable in this book is how this little girl is already so, like, devout in her religion at such a young age, because I feel like that is obviously something that's forced on her, and she's using it to try to escape what her terrible situation is, which I understand, but I hate the idea of a child, like, responding to an altar call, because she very blatantly in the book is saying that she does not understand what these things mean, and I don't like it. So I'm going to read to y'all the part of the book, one part of the book that made me, two parts, okay? So she's talking to Nate, who is the owner of the only black-owned diner in town, and she's upset because her family has forgotten her birthday. First he says, Ella, let me give you a piece of advice. You feel too too much. And everything you feel is right there on that face of yours. It's in your voice. You've got to close that face of yours, or people will keep hurting you. Put on a skin of toughness and hide yourself, you know, like a crab. Who in their right mind would say something like that to a child? Now, granted, this takes place in Mississippi. And we all know you ain't supposed to drink the water in Mississippi because it's got racism in it.
Well, David, the district attorney says that she has until
but then also,
to file charges in this case, afterwards,
as a black woman,
virtual appearance for his first court appearance.
Why would you write?
If he and his legal team plan to fight these charges,
why would you write a black man saying something like that to a child? Then it gets better. Then, so he bought her a gift for her 12th birthday. He was the only person that remembered, and she like works at his diner and like cleans the floors or whatever. He pays her a couple dollars. It's the early 80s. The 80s is the present day.
While walking home, officers putting him in
so
he stopped breathing and died.
He hands her the kite. She's super excited about it. He says, go on, take it out for a run. I know there's nothing you like better than running, and you'll have to run like the wind to get the kite in the air. That's not the issue. The issue is, put it in your mind that you're an African running away from slave hunters deep in West Africa, and you will fly. Are we dumb? Who is saying that to a child? Who is saying that to anybody? Like, I really had to look and say, did a white woman write this? Because a white woman would think that that was something okay to say to a young black child. A black woman would know that that's not okay to say to a black child. Why would you tell somebody to run like an African running away from slave catchers? Are we... I think in the 80s, even in the South, that our black people had some couth and would not say something like that to a child. I don't think that that's realistic, and I'm really feeling like this book is going to be this white woman changed. This white woman changed, and the struggles that white women went through being raised by racists aren't that different than a black girl dealing with colorism in her own house. And when I tell you that that is a lie from the pits of Satan's address, it's a lie. And we can compare a lot of things. I'm not saying that races can't change. I think it's far-fetched, but I'm not saying that I don't think that they can't change. I don't think that a white woman that gets world experience can't change. I think that she can. But I'm also not going to compare what she goes through being raised by racists and having to change her life to what a small black girl is going through, living in the South, and is facing sexual assault and colorism, not only from her neighborhood, but from the people in her house that are supposed to be taking care of her. We are not going to do that. So I am upset and I hate reading this book because I don't think that it could get better. And we never know. We might get to the end of this vlog and I might be like, you know what? I was wrong. If that happens, y'all just will never see this vlog. That's all. But I'm not happy, and I don't. I think there is a way that as black people we can tell our stories, whether it be fiction or nonfiction, right? Where we can talk about our pain, and not pander to white people. Point blank period. I think that we don't have to pander to white people. I think that we can tell. I've read these books, right? I've read The Color of Family. I've read Kindred. I've read all of these things where we can tell our stories and we don't have to pander to white women or white people at all. So I plan to be up for a while tonight, and I plan to finish this book by tomorrow. And I'm just taking y'all along with me. If anything else crazy happens, I will let y'all know. And yeah. Okay, so I'm at about page 100. No, don't start. Not about. I'm at page 100. And I'm just more concerned. So, as far as Ella is concerned, Nate, who owns the Black Diner, there was some discrepancies with him because of the woman that sold him his diner. She passed away and had left all of her, like, her property, her money, her stocks, like her investments to him, and said that he was like a son to her, when really he was her husband's son. So her husband had an affair at some point in time, and he was the result of that. So there was a bunch of issues in the town with that, and you know, it kind of ended with Nate signing over the stuff to the woman's actual son, which was a little disheartening, because it's, you know, they was threatening him and burned a cross in the yard and all your typical racist stuff. As far as Catherine goes, we learned that her father is a part of the KKK.
It's got 50% more protein and it's high in omega-3 fats,
and which explains his racism and all of this stuff. But because of some things that he did, they had to flee and they end up moving to Boston. Now, here's where my issues arise. She detaches herself from her father because he kills her boyfriend, who was white. Right? Okay, valid. Because I will also as well detach myself from my father for something like that. But not because he was racist, not because he was part of the Klan. Like, she says, I learned a lot about my father, but she doesn't, like, detest these things about him. So, we draw the line at murder, not at racism. Stop, baby. Which is interesting to me. So, she has a mental breakdown and is in the psych facility for a little while. And, she decides she's free of her father and moves to Canada with her mom's family, and is gonna go from there. But I'm like, this is where now we're going into part 2 of the book. Gunnar, do you not hear me talking? Do you not hear me talking, Boopsies?
Same problems in terms of childhood diabetes,
him being racist is okay, but a murderer is where we draw the line at.
We do a lot of work in the community as well. So we work with different youth organizations there.
Like, okay, girl, I guess. So I'm curious to see what else about her changes, or how things change for her, because at this point, I'm not convinced.
Okay.
And the town that her father would have done crazy stuff in, whoever he killed back in the day, is in the town that Ella lives in. So I'm curious to see how 2 and 2 come together to make 4. I'm gonna try to make it another 100 pages. I'm tired, so I'm not going to guarantee that. I know I got at least 50 in me. So we'll see, and I'll come with an update before I go to bed. Chapter 20, Princeton, New Jersey, April 1982. After getting over her initial surprise that Dr. Leavenworth was black. Hello, people. Excuse me. I forgot what I was going to say. Give me a second to recoup my thoughts. I was telling mommy earlier about how I asked her very randomly, which is on brand for me, if she had an inner dialogue, or if she saw just like pictures of stuff in her head, because I have a combination of both. But I saw this girl talk about what her inner dialogue was like as somebody with ADHD, and it was like the one was focusing on what she was doing. It was one singing some random song, another one was counting, and then there was another one that was asking who is counting, and that's what the inside of my head is like all the time. That's not what I came on here to tell y'all. I came to say that we went to a yarn store. I did not record anything, but they weren't open when we got there, so we walked down the street to the bookstore, which is called Here's the Story, I think. The man, who I think is the owner, was so very nice. And because of that, me and mom wanted to get books, which I will show y'all later. And because we bought books, he was like, oh, you can pick a free book off the thing. Now, the rack where the free books were of ARCs. Some finished copy ARCs, some not. And one of them was the Lovecraft Country sequel. I am beside myself. Yes, I got it. I was about to stand there and cry. Because I was like, I don't know what publishing company, but then it's HarperCollins, and I don't want to cross the picket line, so I just got his advance copy, okay? So I don't have to email nobody and be like, excuse me. So I'm super excited about that. I'm just gonna put this in the vlog with me hate reading Wade in the Water. I read a couple more pages. I still hate it. I'm not convinced yet. The scene that I am at now, it's from the perspective of Ella, and Ella is like, basically the neighborhood kid's afraid of the white lady that's living in the black neighborhood, which is not far-fetched, because why are you here? And the part that's making me a little bit uncomfortable is that the way that it's being written, again, I don't believe that the things that authors write in their book are far-fetched from their line of belief. It's not far off from their moral compass. Keep that in mind here. It's all the way that it's being written is like, oh, the issue with white people moving to black neighborhoods is that the black people are so suspicious. Baby, when has a white person come to a black neighborhood and it hasn't caused some sort of shift in price, increase in price, or it become the reason that somebody has died? They have never come into our spaces and not had some sort of ill intent. And Catherine's character, her intent is not to really get to know these people. It's to heal from her own past traumas of her daddy being racist. So yes, they should be nervous. Hello? Somebody? They should be nervous. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that's dumb. Because, like, a black woman wrote this. What? It don't really make no sense to me, but I still hate it. I say that to say that his inner dialogue speaks out loud. Mm-hmm. Mine stays in my head. Mm-hmm. What was I before the man and his voices distracted me?
Moving into white people, moving into black neighborhoods. Okay,
I think what I was gonna say after that was, I'm probably not gonna do any more reading until tonight because we're going to my uncle's house. I'll be so high. Don't tell him I told y'all this, but I actually like my uncle. He's not a terrible person. I like him. I might even love him a little bit. Don't tell him I said that. I highly doubt he watches my YouTube videos, but don't tell him I said that, because then he might just start to get ideas that I actually like him or something. And we have been at war since I was born, and it will happen until one of us closes the door on this realm. Okay. So yeah, I probably won't do any more reading until tonight. My intent was to. Are those lights, or are those really big birds up there? I think they're lights. I don't think birds come they might. But a bird that big is a dinosaur. So
what are you looking at?
At that building up there. I think that's a light. It looked like it's birds perched. You know my eyes bad. I got them from you. You see, don't they look like big old bird? A bird that size is a dinosaur. That's not no regular bird. That's a dinosaur. So yeah, I'll probably do some more reading tonight, but as of right now, I still don't like the book. I still don't like it. I'm not convinced yet. And I don't think there's anything that is going to change what I'm seeing, and what I'm thinking is going to happen in this book. And like I said to y'all last night, I don't believe that just because you have a black friend, or just because like a singular black person has said something to you that has changed your perspective, means that you're no longer racist anymore. Does that make sense, Mom? Because I feel like racism is so deep rooted, especially with this character having lived on a farm and having been raised by somebody that was openly racist, that has openly, I mean, it is assumed that he has killed a black person because he is a part of the KKK, in a time when they was just going in the outside to kill people and nobody was stopping them, which is why I think they fled anyway to Boston. But anyway, I don't think with such deep-rooted racism, I don't think her just moving to this neighborhood that she gonna be like, oh, I like all of the N-words now because this one little girl don't seem that bad. That's not the way of the world. And for this to be written by a black woman makes me concerned. Like, I want to ask her, does she know that she black? Do she know? Like, you writing a book that aligns with the white people is not, like, they still not gonna like you, sis. No thank you. So that's where I stand. We're gonna go get some White Castle, and I'm gonna go home. We're gonna walk the dog, and then we're going to get my uncle the pizza that he likes, and we're gonna go watch football with the family because I really enjoy family time, and I get to see my baby, and she be smiling with her gums at me when she see me because she know who I am. The little busybody, and little literally because her body ain't but this big, and she be crawling off fast. Like, where you going, girl? She be getting there fast though. So that's the rest of the day. Okay, y'all, I am not gonna finish Wade in the Water. I'm not gonna finish it. I'm not gonna do that to myself, because it is not getting better. I think I had a little bit of hope that it was gonna get better, but this is going in the DNF pile. My breaking point was that this woman has decided to, because she's afraid of black people, so she's deciding to use Ella to get whatever information she needs for her dissertation paper. This book is not for black people. This book is obviously targeted towards white women. This author obviously wrote this book for white women, and I can't any longer. I think if you like Colleen Hoover, I think if you like Sue Monk Kidd's early work, I think if you like things like what was that recent movie that came out where the crawdads sing, if you like books like those, you'll enjoy this book. Books that are targeted towards white women, for lack of better words. And there's nothing wrong with reading certain types of books. I just think we need the wherewithal of what these things mean and how harmful they are. Why is it okay for this woman to manipulate this child to get her dissertation work? Why is it okay for this woman to be doing all of these things for her dissertation work and not because she actually wants to grow and be different? Right? I think my real big issue is that a black kid could pick this book up because there is a black child on the cover, which in the book, if this is supposed to be Ella, they describe this child as being midnight black. Me and this baby got the same skin tone. What the hell? Black women can pick this book up. Black children can pick this book up because we are on the cover of it just to be spoken to, or just to be told things like, where's the page? To run like an African. Yeah, just to be told things like, put it in your mind that you're an African running away from slave hunters deep in West Africa and you will fly. I just don't understand. I give this book a 1 star. And you know what? Because of my troubles, I'm going to put it that I finished it. Because this book stressed me out enough. I should at least get the credit for it. I don't believe in pandering to white people. If this book would have been written by a white woman, I think I would have accepted the thought process a little bit differently, but it's offensive that this is written by a black woman, and I'm concerned for her and the way that she views the world. This is up there on the list of books that I hate as much as I hate Memphis. So yeah, I'm not gonna finish it. And I don't really know how it could come together. Like, the only ways that this book could come together in a quote-unquote positive light is that trope of, oh, spending time with Ella has made me realize that black people are human. That is bull swanky. It truly is. So if y'all want to read it, read it. I don't advise it. I'm actually going to take it off of my store, because I don't think anybody should read this. I think that it is harmful. I think the thought processes in this book are harmful. And I would love to have conversation with the author to really understand where her thought process is coming from. I want to ask her, is she dumb? I sincerely want to ask her if she's dumb. So with that said, yeah, I'm taking this off of my store. You will not be able to get this from me because I'm mad I spent my money on this bull swanky. But if you want to get it and you want to read it, I would love to hear other people's perspectives on it, because that's the joy of reading and sharing a love of books, right? Somebody else may read this and can give me a totally different perspective than the one that I have, and I'm open to that. I'm just telling you that I know what this book is about, and it is not for black people. It's not at all. So without further ado, if nobody has told you today, I love you. If you guys want more like reading vlogs like this, please let me know. And yeah, love you. Bye.